Be a lot of important stuff in this meeting. You have to record it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. there's a few pictures in the theme. Looks like not very many, like 4 or 5, but they're still nice.
Yeah,
Filling
I
up.
didn't. I didn't get exactly what I wanted to, but it was something.
Like I said, it's tough to get motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Busy with
Oh.
other things.
The heat was too much, and I wanted to do the longboard with my nieces doing the panning, but it just wasn't doable in the heat. So
Hello, everyone else. Hi, Denise.
Hello, Doug.
Hi, Byron.
Like more people are coming in out of the heat than I thought there would be.
Any word from CASA about meeting there come fall time?
No, and not that I know of. I haven't seen any messages, so I imagine they're waiting for us to get back to them. We probably should have some kind of meeting and decide if that's what we want to do or not. I guess I should check with them first. Anybody know if they're having meetings there yet, or is it just the arts open?
I think I only seen the arts open, but I'm not sure.
They're holding classes there now, and the studios are open. You still have to pre-register for times. There's no mask requirement in that place now, but yeah, things are starting to get back and underway. I suspect they'll be ready to take on new groups, the regular group, because I've seen people there for music lessons and pardon me, not music art.
They have an exhibition going as well. The annual summer salon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very interesting artwork. A lot of it's very beautiful.
Did you get a piece there, Rolf?
Yeah, I got a picture in there.
I thought I saw your name there. I took a quick walk through things, and Dana and
Yes.
and
Haven't made it there yet.
Byron, there was 4 of us, I guess, from the club. Or was there anyone else that I've missed? Or
No, not me.
Yeah, some nice works there.
Guess it's after 7. Maybe give it another minute or two.
7:02.
Yeah, I haven't been in CASA for a long time.
Mm.
But yeah, if you have to sign up to go in the rooms, and they must be still kind of controlling how many people are coming in and stuff. So
Yeah.
probably aren't having the big meetings yet.
No, actually, not yet. They didn't have an actual opening night for the summer salon. I went there last night, actually. They had an outdoor figure drawing workshop out on the Rotary Park there.
Mhm.
And it wasn't too bad, actually. In spite of the heat, I thought it would be a real hot pot there with all the cement, but it was 31 there.
Mm.
So the one Tanya was modeling for.
Yes. God, she's tall. Holy smokes. I ran out of pencil lead drawing her.
How about she's so skinny?
Yeah.
Either
God.
the other way.
She had even with her height, her last outfit that she put on was a pair of high heels that had to be 6 inches. They were pretty flashy heels.
Yeah. Okay, I think we will go on, and I'll just bring up the ones that were entered for the theme, and we'll start with that. I think. And I'm going to mirror that. Oops, that was supposed to be full screen. There we go. I don't know whose this one is. So
That's mine, Laura Lee. I tried to do it while I was on vacation, and I tried to tag it from my computer before I left, and then I tried to share it from my phone while I was away on holidays. So I don't know if it worked or not.
it went. Your name is just, the title is just doesn't have your name in it. So, and I'm sorry about the spy photo at the bottom if you guys see it. If I'm logged in as administrator, it just keeps coming up and I can't get rid of it there. I don't think I can move it. No. Okay, anyone, do you want to tell us, how about just tell us about it first?
I was trying to get the panning of the swing moving in motion. And so I threw the swing and then I took a photo of it. I don't know much about panning, and so it was all new to me. And that's about all I have to say about it because it was a new subject. So
Well, it's
You got some really nice things. Oh, sorry, Lori.
a pretty cool shot of motion and depicting motion and almost a little bit abstract. That's pretty cool, but it's not sure we would actually call it panning. So if I say you don't, then somebody will say it does. But usually you have your subject in focus and you don't see the movement in it. So what you're doing, what you should be doing with your camera is trying to keep your camera the same speed and the same direction as your subject is moving so that when you take the picture, it stops the motion, but your background will be all blurred. But it's still really cool. And somebody might correct me and still call this panning. It could very well be.
yeah, I don't really know when I Googled it, and this is what it showed me to do. So I'm not really sure. I mean, it was all new to me.
I like the image. It's got some really neat line, like the panning lines from the background. Some nice browns in there, and that counter plays very nicely against the blue and the swing. That's actually one of my favorite color combinations is browns and blues. And then you've also got the edge of some brighter ground in the upper left corner there. I like that you've got an angle on the things there. I think the big thing is to watch the shutter speed as well. And
Okay.
that's something you just have to play around with.
Yeah.
I had to do that on the piece that I got, and it's fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was different to do for sure. I'll have to do some more practicing with that.
Any other comments or tips for her? And did you sit in on the demo that we had, or the workshop little thing talk that we had that Donna gave on panning?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you would have seen with all of her images, like the bike and all that stuff, the subject is usually sharp. So that comes with you moving. You need to move with that subject so that
Yeah,
you stop it. It's not quite so blurry. So you were moving not quite the same
the same
movement as
speed.
the bike was doing, and that's why, or I mean, as a swing. So that's why
Yeah.
you got some motion, but it's still like it's almost there. And like everybody says, it just takes practice because everything is, different. Like a horse moves a different speed than a bike moves, and that moves a different speed than a swing. And the
Yeah.
swing is also not just going straight back and forth. So it's kind of difficult it's really difficult to get it because it's got that up and down motion that you got to try to stop too. So
Yeah.
okay, I think we'll go on to the next one. Know who this is? Byron's. So Byron, you want to just tell us about it?
Yeah, this is Slater. It's one of the dogs that I walk with every morning. There's a group of us that go down to the dog park every morning and we walk around, and they usually run together in a pack. So I thought they would be a good subject to try some panning on. So this is about 8 o'clock in the morning, and like you say, the trickiest part about trying to get a good pan is following your subject at the same speed. So I probably took about 100 shots that day, and I only got about 4 or 5 that were somewhat sharp in focus, and this one was the best one. So this is with a 300 telephoto lens at 1/20th of a second.
Looks like 1/60th if I'm reading that right. Over on the left there.
Let's see, exposure time. 1/60th, okay.
Yeah, it's a nice looking shot. Those, again, the background is working so nicely there. Having chosen a dog that you've added in some other components of movement, got the head still, but then his legs are going in different directions too, so that really adds some more to it. Some neat things happening there.
And what I like about it is, even though the dog isn't totally in focus, the head is.
Yes.
Head
Yeah.
and the eyes are in focus, and that.
Yeah, that all important point, the eyes are in focus, and it's neat.
Yeah, I kind of bumped up the saturation in the eye too, just because it was in focus and that was your focal point.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some of the other images that I got, some parts of the dog were in focus and some were not. It just depended on what type of movement he was doing at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the other thing that comes into play with it, and you'll notice it particularly on action shots, where you've got a slower shutter speed, is when that shutter, what do they call it? The curtain on the shutter moves across the frame. You get some weird things that'll happen. And I don't know if it shows up on mine, but I was shooting some cars and some weird things were happening actually on the wheels that were going around.
Very nice picture, Byron.
Yes, very nice.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Who we got here? Oh, this is Wayne's. So you did a really good job of stopping him there in motion. 1/100th of a second. Want to tell us about Wayne?
Okay, yeah, this one actually runs in somewhat similar fashion to Byron's in that there are some parts that are sharp, but his boot, which is on the foot pedal there, has got some vibration to it. And the wheels, again, because they're rotating a whole lot faster, you don't get the frozen motion there. You could do that if you got up to a higher shutter speed, but then it's more difficult to try and get that blurred look in the background there.
Yeah, he just has to be going a lot faster.
Yes. And again, with the background here, just some interesting things happening. It does present more challenges too. I shot this on University Drive by the driveway that goes winding back to the Cooley's Edge there. And so that's the bars that you see just in front of the bike are from the wrought iron gate there. And so there's verticals and horizontals there. And that created an interesting little piece in there. And then to the left, they've got, I think it was a brick or a stucco triangle that's quite large. And so there's nothing that really would show movement or motion on that. So wasn't real crazy about that part of it, but well, much like Byron, I shot a bunch of photos there, and I did have a couple of cars that came out pretty good, but I liked this in the fact that there's a whole lot more interesting subject with the lighting on his leathers there.
I actually like, Wayne, the wheels. I don't think you'd want to stop the motion there because it would take away from that.
Yeah, you would, right, yeah. Yeah, when you look real close, actually I used Topaz sharpener software on this, and it did the job. I'm really quite impressed with this Topaz suite. But the other thing is like his jacket, the bike, but the Harley Davidson logo is blurry, and the logo on the top of his helmet is too. So as I was editing this and fine tuning it, I had an opportunity to look quite closely to what's sharp and what is doing some weird things. Actually, if you have time, if you'd like, I can show you what I mean later on about the wheel movement. Some interesting stuff.
Cool. somebody want to tell us who this is?
That's mine, Laura Lee. I thought I had my name on it.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh, there.
So, oh, that thing's spinning, right?
Yeah, the guy in the yellow shirt in behind there was pushing those kids around in it. And yeah, it was, yeah, the horizontal and vertical lines and that little girl at the bottom there that I got to stay still.
What were you tracking when you were panning? The girl?
I thought I was tracking the what is it called? Carousel.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess right in the middle of it, it is sharp, but it's hard to tell if it's, I guess it would be because of panning.
But I think part of it is sharp and the outer edges are not sharp because being a circle going around like that, those ones that are on the left and right extremities are actually moving at different speed
I
horizontally.
Well, they're moving in different direction too.
Right.
Right.
But it's got a nice effect to it.
Yeah, so that middle section is right actually where you're panned on
Right.
from just a very small area kind of there where it's panned.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I like the fact that that one girl that is sitting down is almost in complete focus and everybody else is blurred out.
Mhm. Yes, that works nicely, focusing attention to that. And again, the composition and framing. Brilliant, Donna. You got that third there.
Thank you. It was fun.
Mhm.
Love the color on it. It looks cool.
Yeah, I think with all the colors in that image, it really makes it a great image.
Mhm. It says fun.
Ooh, F29. Wow.
F29.
It was pretty bright out.
Oh,
SO 200. Because I was going to say the guy on top, I thought since he's lined up with that thing, I thought he would be more out of focus because of the distance rather than the movement. But I guess he's not moving as far because it goes in there, right? Because
It does go in.
it's not as wide. So I guess it must be more because of the motion in
the
him.
motion and
I
speed.
guess I never thought of all those things when I was taking it. I
Yeah.
just thought, oh, here's something that's moving, right? And I never thought of the direction or anything.
You took on a bigger challenge. No, it's got a real nice summery feel to it. Hot, fun, but the shadows cool you off.
Yeah. Yeah, those kids were having a good time.
Mhm.
Very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know how many we could send. So as I was leaving the park with the kids there, there was a car going by. So I just quickly took a picture of it and I submitted it as well. So that's why I have two.
Not a big deal. Oops, oops, sorry. Come back here. Trying to get rid of that to make sure I was seeing it all. And that was taken during Street Wheelers?
Yeah, right after there. Yeah. Or yeah, during it. Yeah.
Just on the street, not in anything.
It was on Mayor McGrath. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that shows really nicely the weird things that start happening. Like if you look at those wheels,
The wheels, right.
yeah, and the front one, you've almost got it stopped in the very center, but it just gets more blurred as it goes out to the perimeter.
Right.
And then the one on the left, that's the one that's showing, I'm suspecting it's likely the wheel bouncing a bit or something, because some really defined lines start showing up in a bit of a jolting fashion. It's a great background there too.
And is this a crop that the picture was?
That's exactly, it's almost exactly right out of the camera. Yeah, I was like, I was just walking back and I saw it and I just took the picture, and that's how it came out.
Usually with Panny, it seems like we leave more room because you're scared of,
Yeah.
out of room or whatever, because it's moving or whatever. So you're going to miss it. So you leave a lot of room. But
Mhm.
Yeah, I wasn't overly prepared for this one.
yeah. Just wanted to see. So 1/20th of a second. I believe this one is Ian's. Yep, Ian's. So have you got a mic there, Ian? You're just being real quiet.
Well, I do have a mic if you can hear me.
Yep.
I decided normally we end up doing horizontally or vertically, perhaps mostly in one or the other. This is a pan in 6 directions at once. So it's horizontal, vertical, in and out zoom, and yaw, pitch, and roll
Oh, wow.
with your camera. If you considered your camera like an airplane, it has yaw, pitch, and roll in it. So
Right.
if you add yaw, pitch, and roll to horizontal, vertical, and zoom, you get 6 degrees of panning at
Mhm.
once.
And what are you panning?
A light piece of light in a doorway. Just a tiny
Beautiful
little
light.
chunk of light. You stand on the dark side of a door and you open the door just a crack. So there's a little light sneaking through, and you work your way around the entire door frame, up and down, sideways, backwards, frontwards, in and out, and you end up with 1,000 different pictures that look totally altogether different.
Well, yeah, they'd be very unique too, and it's some wonderful lines.
Starts with a fisheye. Right. So it's a fisheye lens, 8-14, and it zooms. So you get the fisheye effect with the circle in the middle at the very smallest point, and then out to the outside edges as it zooms in. And it may zoom both directions in one instance, depending on how long the exposure is. And I don't remember how long this one was, but usually they're quarter second or something.
1 second.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, with ISO of 2000 and f4, that's not a very bright light you're looking at there.
Oh, it's very dim.
Yeah.
Just a tiny little chunk of light.
Mhm. Well, I suppose that's the thing. If you get that many elements of your movement, you got to make your shutter speed much longer.
Right. Otherwise, you just get a little tiny chunk and it's nothing. So you have to make a fairly long exposure. And most of the time it's more than a quarter second for sure. It just depends on how much light is coming through, and you play it by ear. If they're overly bright, you speed it up. And if they're not, you slow it down. And that, you can play with all the parameters and come up with a slew of different things. So
Yeah, you showed us some before that were a series of that. They weren't panned or movement in them, right? They were just long exposures.
those were two. I think they were called portals. I did about 5 years ago, maybe, for the March show that we have,
Right.
used to have every year.
Yeah.
And so there was a show for that, and that was a similar thing called portals. These ones, because they tend to be more round and don't go outside the frame too often or too much. These ones are called agates, and so they kind of reminded me of agates and slices through agates in different cases. This one maybe not so much, but in lots of cases they are. So this entire group, and there's maybe 1,000 or 2,000 of them, are all called agates because they start with a very small portion of the frame to start with in the fisheye section. The other shots we always used probably a 20, something like that. But these all use a 8 to 14 fisheye.
Very cool.
Or maybe it's 15. Looks like it's 15.
It's 15, yeah.
But usually the small portion, the round portion will be the 8. And then as it gets to the outside and outside the frame will be where it ends up at 15.
Yeah.
And it's a Canon lens. It's a very nice lens. And luckily all the Canon lenses fit on my Sony Lovely, just lovely. So I'm happy to use it.
Very cool. Thank you. I think that's the last one. Awesome. Thank you guys for going out and doing that for us, because I got totally left behind and didn't do anything. Does anybody else have anything they want to share with us from what they've been taking pictures of? Wasn't there some kind of moon lately that was cool? George, are you still here? Yeah, you got anything, George?
Oh, I'll have to look. I can do it in a very quick short time. Maybe somebody else has something in the meantime.
Byron, you got anything else that you've been doing? Your shadows, your bug shadows?
Bug shadows, nothing that I haven't already posted on the Facebook page. I did take some firework pictures the other night at the exhibition.
Right. Got any of those handy?
Yeah, I can pull them up if you give me a minute here.
Anybody been traveling anywhere and getting anything? Oh,
Travel yet.
pardon me, Doug?
No travel yet.
Not out playing in the smoke? Anybody trying anything out there? There we go.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Here's just a few from last Friday night. I was trying the focus blur technique on a lot of these. That's not one of them. That is sort of one. Here's one that I liked. So I start in focus and it's about a 2 to 3 second exposure. And then I move the camera out of focus. So most of these are a 2 to 3 second exposure. Nothing great about that one. I kind of like this one because the fireworks on the upper left-hand side were mainly in focus. And then the second set that's right here, I started going out of focus. That one is completely out of focus. Yeah, I kind of like this one too. As you see, these lines here at the bottom, they're thin and sharp, and that's in focus. And as the fireworks travel up, I go out of focus, and that causes this effect here.
Very nice. I like that.
And so this one is out of focus, and as these streamers come down, I move the camera out of focus. So that's this effect here with the green streamers. Yeah, a little blown out here. Probably too little long exposure. Same with that one. Yeah, I kind of like this one too, because you have this burst, which is in focus, and the one behind it are out of focus. And same with these streamers here. So I was set up just north of the exhibition. There's a lagoon there, so I was parked right by the lagoon. So there is a reflection in the water here, and you can see the fence that barricades the lagoon there. And that's it.
Cool.
Very nice.
Very nice. Thank you, Byron. Do you want to do something, George?
Sure, I'll do something. Just let me share my screen. Is it shared?
Yep.
Okay, so one day there was probably at the end of June, there was a nice cloud formation forming. So I quickly went out my back door and just around by the airport there and started shooting just various pictures. So I didn't pick one. I'm going to show you 4 of them just so that just emphasize what we learned earlier in the year. I think from one of the workshops where people said just keep moving around and looking for different perspectives. So I shot this. I like the clouds. I like the bright. I like the dark clouds up top and the bright one on the horizon. And so then I moved in and shot that a little bit closer. And then I moved out. Well, this was about 20 minutes later when the sky lit up and that cloud was still there, so. That was, it was burning out, and so. Anyways, just took a lot of shots and really haven't done anything with those ones. Then one night I went out to shoot the full moon, but the full moon didn't appear, but I turned around and there was a lot of lightning, so I actually took this and stacked them in. I brought about 4 pictures into Photoshop, selected them all, used lighting, and all the lightning strikes appeared in the image. So that's how I did it. I didn't get that shot all in one shot. So
That was the night Carson got the hail, wasn't it?
sorry.
That was the night Carson got the hail, wasn't it?
I could have been early. I'm not sure. I know I was disappointed I didn't get a moon.
Yeah.
What were your settings for a single image?
Byron, my settings were, I tried to get it as long as possible. So I went down to the, I think I was at 64 ISO and I was at f22. And I think I was around 1 second. So I just put it on my intervalometer and I just, oh no, I didn't actually put it on that. I just locked my shutter release and it takes 100 pictures. So I just boom, 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 boom. And, I brought it into Lightroom. I just looked for the ones that had lightning strikes in them, deleted all the rest, and then moved them into Photoshop to merge them.
What time was that, George?
That was around 9 o'clock at night, probably 9 or 9:30. Back in when was the last full moon we didn't get? Probably. It was probably around June 28th or something like that, Chris.
So was it as dark as it looks?
Yeah, it was, but that portion of the sky was about that dark. So
It's very nice.
I wish it was if I would have actually said, "Oh, I'm going to go shoot lightning." Half an hour later, I think I saw somebody posting pictures of lightning over the high level or the high level bridge, and they were fantastic. And but they shot him a little bit later, where he probably got a shutter speed of 5 or 6 or 10 seconds, and it's much easier to capture. I cringe when my shutter goes off that frequently, that quickly. So, anyways, it was a bonus for turning around when the moon didn't show up.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, I went and got that moon over by McGrath, and it was you can see the belt of Venus there, and the moon's actually quite bright because the sun is just coming up, and it's lighting up the mountains there, and Big Chief and things. So I got shots earlier, but where the moon is a little orangier color because the sun wasn't up yet, but I didn't like it as much as this one.
This one's pretty.
That's about at 5 in the morning, somewhere around there.
Byron, that would have been around around 5:30. Around 5:30 a.m.
Yeah, lovely image. Really like the great depth of tones that you've got there, that foreground up to the clear sky. That's beautiful.
And last week I went out shooting flax flowers, and I come to the realization that flax is a very difficult crop to shoot.
It is.
But I found this field. Well, this is a friend of mine's field, so he told me where he had flax, and the bonus was the tree in that field. So I like the tree, and the sun gets up on this flax, and it's hard to get blue colors.
Yeah.
This and that. So obviously, I need more practice in that area.
Marvelous shot. That tree is so characterful there.
Yeah.
So those flax flowers, they normally are a deeper blue than that. Then, right? Or
Well, the different varieties have different colors. This one is more of a violet color, and
Or like the very bottom of the picture, right?
sorry, Lily.
Or like the very bottom of the picture in both corners, that color, kind of violet color. there.
Yeah.
did you try playing with the luminance and saturation on that particular color?
I don't like to fool around with that stuff too much. So, no, I think it would be better to go. I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning these days. So I think it would have been better. I think it would be better to go around after the sun's up, but before it gets too high in the sky. So probably, well, the flax flowers are probably running out right now, but I should have gone like 6 a.m. or something, and or 6 to 6:30. But
I think
Lorelei, sounds like you've shot some flax as well.
did a wedding and we stopped at a flax field. And I think part of it is that it's just all, like there's no leading lines and all that kind of stuff. And when you have canola, you usually have the blue and the yellow contrasting colors. So that kind of shows up and you can do something really cool with it. But flax is just kind of usually it's really hard to, I think to compose a really nice picture with flax. You think of lavender, and lavender always has all those, leading lines that you can get or whatever. And you're hoping to get that when you get out to a flax field, but I couldn't. And it does reflect if it's bright outside, it reflects the light. So then you lose some of the color. And it's difficult to get a really nice picture. You think you're going to get something cool, but it just doesn't happen.
yeah, so and that's a good point Lorelei brings up. So there are no really leading lines there, but you got that lone tree that
Right.
got your attention.
Oh yeah.
In this picture, the next one I actually got close up to the tree and have the flax in the foreground, and
Yeah, a lot of character in that tree.
you can see that. Well, I got this nice little branch coming down, pointing right at that church.
Right.
So that's the church in Welling.
Oh, right, the LDS
So
state there.
So that's Welling right there.
Yeah. Aha, now we know where to find that tree.
So,
is this a bright day or is it a muggy day, or like a
well,
was it
sorry.
a muggy day? Or is it almost
One-
like smoky in the background? But
It was a
Easy day.
easy day. So again, flax, trying to get those colors, and but knowing the problem Laura Lee pointed out, I was trying to find something like the road, the irrigation, this crooked little pipe.
Yeah, that's quite the line there, really.
Come on.
Yeah, I really like shooting under that kind of light.
So you get some leading lines there, but again, I got there a little earlier than I did in the previous picture, but this was around 10 a.m. But I think 4 hours earlier still would have been better. And then I just did some abstracts. So
Nice.
I just flipped the picture around and kept the reflections of the cows in the water. And then 2 nights ago, I was out and I was shooting the Milky Way over a potato field, and while I was waiting for that to happen, I noticed that the vaccine crescent was sort of falling in the sky, but it was getting pretty late. And anyways, I just took this. It's a composite, so I took 2 images, one of the sky and one of the foreground. Put it into Photoshop, put the 2 together, because there's no way I could get this bright enough without blowing out that moon. So even at this, it's blowing out a little bit, although you can see it's not too bad, but anyways, that was just 2 nights ago. Oh, by Chin. Okay, that's all I got for tonight, Harley.
Thank you. It's not on here tonight, right? No. So I haven't heard anything yet about any field trips, I don't think.
Now is Lynetta gonna have us over to look at her flowers?
I can talk to her. I know she's starting to sell them. So she's got quite a few, and I saw some pictures that are there. So I can definitely see what she has in mind.
She offered to have a little field
Yeah.
trip to her place, and so I'm excited about doing that. And
She might be waiting for certain flowers that she thinks maybe are more photogenic or something, but I know she's got quite a few right now. So I can, I'll go check with her and see if she's been talking to Sigrid or not.
okay, great.
I think she was kind of talking the end of July, beginning of August would be the good time. So maybe in the next couple of weeks. Anybody else have anything they want to share? What else you been experimenting with, Ian? You're always experimenting with something.
Actually, Lorelei, I can show that effect in the wheels. And then I've got some shots from visit down to Cottonwood Park, and we had similar lighting that George had on that day. And I was actually quite amazed how differently the sky did turn out when I enhanced those blues. But I'll see if I can show you a couple of shots. Actually, yeah, they're right there. So where do I go to share screen? Oh, there it is. And that's not showing, that's not, oh, there I am. Okay, I think. Okay, so okay, is everyone seeing a Volkswagen there?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, not so much this one, because like the wheel is just almost static in there. But again, if you reckon back to some of the old Western movies with the stagecoach, the wheels are always going backwards, it seems. And this one, well, obviously didn't work, but just some neat things happening in there. This is a beautiful spot along University Drive, just past the recycling center there that you've got. And I love the lines in that driveway there. But back here, where are we? I've lost my birds. Uh, yes, I'm gonna have to go and dig those out. Carry on and I'll get back to you right away.
You can't carry on unless you exit the screen sharing.
That's where I'm at. I think I ran into this problem last time I was sharing where, yes, I couldn't get the, stop sharing, that's up at the top.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Sorry about that.
Okay. Anybody else? Ian? Doug? Somebody? Anybody got anything else to share?
No, I don't really have anything.
No. I can.
I tried going to look for some, but I lost the screen and everything all at once, and I couldn't figure out how to get back again
I know.
until Wayne showed up and saved me. For some reason, his thing came on, and all of a sudden I got a picture back. So I don't know what I did wrong.
Do you want to try again?
I could try and see. Let me check and see if I can get over there.
Hey, Chris, have you edited your photos from Cottonwood there?
Yes, I have. I posted them right after.
Really, I went and looked and I didn't see anything, but
Hi.
that
It's
was
not-
on Facebook, or
Yeah, Facebook on my photography page.
I'll have to check that out.
I can show you a couple.
Literally, I'll show one more while we're waiting if
Sure, go for it. I think
Let's-
unless that'll.
unless people are already ready to go.
I'm just looking around in mine to see if I can find my flax pictures, but you guys go ahead.
So this is the one I took 2 nights ago. I was at Chin. So the one where I had the weed and the waxing crescent moon. This was a little later in the evening, and I'm beginning to embrace light pollution because
What
the
can you do?
rural countryside is just full of it. And this really bright spot over here is McCain's processing plant.
Oh, wow. That's a bright pollution there.
It looks like the Milky Way is coming out of it.
My mind looked like aliens were coming down and filling up the plant with alien chip makers. So, so this was the potato field. I went out there during the day, and the flowers were all wide open, and these were nice purplish color flowers, and they look just beautiful. And then at night they just closed right up. So
Yeah, that looks really alienish. Really, the
Not quite the effect I had in mind,
Yeah.
but anyways,
serendipity.
I'll have to confess, this is also a composite, and I took the foreground and during the blue hour. So somewhere around 10:15. And then I took this shot at 1 a.m. So otherwise, I do have one I'm processing now where I shot a panoramic at 1:30, and the foreground isn't nearly as good. So anyways, I've declared my my ethics. I'm okay to composite 2 times. But
Absolutely.
The tripod for that long, or you just guessed when you came back?
sorry,
You were there from 10 till 1 on the camera still on the tripod, or you moved it?
yeah, I set my camera up at. Well, I have 2 cameras, so I shot the other one with another camera. But I set this thing up right there. This is on the edge of the field, and there's a big irrigation line that he had parked right on the edge of the field. So, and so I had to get past that irrigation out unit to avoid it being in my picture, because this was shot with a 14mm lens. And at 2 a.m., that stupid thing turned on, and my tripod was right underneath it.
Oh,
Well, it doesn't start immediately, so all of a sudden this big bang and the light came on, and I could hear the thing gurgling, and I was in the middle of when I shoot these at this time of night, I shoot at really high ISO with short shutter speeds, like 10 seconds. So and then I stack them in Starry Landscape Stacker to get pinpoint stars. And so I was in the middle of that in my panel, and so I waited and waited and waited until I didn't think I could wait any longer, and I had to get out of there before the water came on. So.
Very cool. I think after
I can show a couple, Lorelei. So you got that?
yeah. Great.
Okay. So I went on a walk down to Cottonwood Park, and this was the first trip down. Very hot day, and saw a butterfly on a thistle plant, and I kind of liked the way the light reflected onto the spots on the butterfly.
Mhm.
There's another shot of him watching me.
very nice.
So what lens, Chris? And
That's the 150 to 600. Don't like to get too close to these things; they might bite.
well,
Yeah, butterflies are mean that way.
and then you just cropped into that size.
Yeah, well, I zoomed in.
So that's
So is that out of the camera, or
Yep.
did
Yep.
you crop it? You know, okay.
It might have been cropped a little bit, but not much. Then earlier I was traveling through Barnwell, and I thought I'd check out that new solar farm there. But unfortunately, the solar farm is kind of in a dip, and there's big chain link fences around it. And so it's really difficult to get a shot of. And there's warning signs all over the place. But I thought it was interesting that the ones you see in the States, they're all nice and level, and but these ones kind of just contour the ground. So I thought it was a different way to look at solar farms. Another one at Little Bow Park. It was we haven't been there in years, and we camped there for a week, and it was kind of a nice spot, very calm, and a lot of kayaking. And then the talking about fireworks, there's a family in Raymond that has a fireworks display, and it's kind of been it's grown over the years, and they now have sponsors in the town, and so the show is pretty big, and it's like choreographed music, so it's a really good show, and much better organized than the Lethbridge shows, because you can get in and out of there like in 15 minutes. So it's
So you
really-
also shot the Bell Media fireworks. Which show did you enjoy more?
oh, this one was better,
Yeah.
but the Bell I just did for CTV.
Mhm.
It wasn't still images.
But yeah,
The other thing I've been shooting a lot of is birds, and so this is a red-naped sapsucker.
wow. And where was this, Chris?
That was at Beauvais Lake. And brown thrasher, this was at Little Bow.
You got some miles on your car from Barmouth to Beauvais.
That's just the B's. Wait till I get to the C's. Common grackle, young grackle. And these three birds are just having a little chat. But this was sort of an interesting moment.
Yeah.
Decided to take off.
Are those juvenile robins then?
Yeah. And then Baltimore Orioles are really elusive to me. They seem to like the taller branches in the trees, and they're really hard to get a good shot of. And so I waited around for a long time. I could hear them singing, and I waited for this guy to come down to a lower branch, and it was a long wait for him to come down, but finally he did. And then I got that shot, and I was quite happy with that. And then he took off, and it was even better.
Oh, nice.
And that's about all I got right here.
Really nice.
Where did you find the Oriole, Chris? Where was that?
That was at Little Bow Park. There was actually a lot of them there, but as I said, they were all in the very tops of the trees, and
Yeah.
you could hear them, but they never came down.
Any and you weren't successful? You ended up logging off?
Sorry, I missed what you said there, Lorelei.
I think Ian ended up getting logged off when he was trying to get in
Oh,
something, but he's back on, but are you trying again, Ian?
It was a different computer than the last time I logged on, so I had to go back and allow it to deal with the Zoom share and all the rest, and I still have to find the ones I want to show, so
Okay,
carry on.
I'll go, I don't know, I'll log into that wedding that there's some flax out there. So but I just find it, they're just kind of dull. I guess the girls aren't there, the flax is it's always hard. They seem to be planted on a really flat field all the time. So it's hard to get that, you got to get up high to get the flax actually in the picture. Let's see, there's some more down here somewhere. Obviously like the road, yeah. So I was up on the road and taking it down into the flax field so that
oh, nice.
I could get the whole blue in the background.
Colorful wedding party there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're fun. This is Jan's daughter, if any of you remember Jan when she was in our club. So let's see if there's any, there's some close-up ones, I guess. So they're nice when you blur them out, but bright sunny.
I wonder if flax changes color over the day, because I know the flowers don't last long.
Yeah, I know they don't last long too.
And I've shot flax before, and it comes out bright blue, but it must depend on how new the flowers are.
Yeah, it might.
Well, and as I think George said, there's different varieties of flax too. And the stuff I've seen around here doesn't seem to be as intense a blue as what I used to see back in Manitoba.
Are you ready, Ian? Maybe?
Actually, if you like, I got a couple of shots just to show you how I like to treat a hazy sky.
Sure.
Let's see if I can do this here. Okay. Well, actually, I'll get something that, yeah, the sky was just a little, well, smoky, I guess is what it was we were dealing with. And getting some underexposure here, but I would take that, bump it up. The more, I think, compelling image was this, pardon me, meadowlark here. And so what I have done, let's see if I can do this here. Go into develop and the actually I created a brush there just to change a hazy sky to blue, and so take the color temperature over a bit and drop the clarity, sharpness, pick these up. And let's see, where are we at here? Look at that, I didn't change the color on that one. There, yeah. But I'm, like I love shooting with a hazy sky, but it really makes for an ugly sky. You do get nice soft shadows, so that's where I like to take it from something quite flat like that and to bump it up. Anyway, that's all I had to show on that. I'll stop sharing there.
You ready, Ian?
Yes, I have one to share, and I'm not dead certain if it's something you'll all want to see or not, but due to my proximity bridge, I'm oftentimes able to see what's going on when we have issues with people who aren't ready to stay in this world, and how much work it is for our local police, fire department, and whatsoever to try to keep them alive. And I have one photograph here that I'll show you, and if you're upset with it, then I'll dispense with it. But I think it's very interesting how we oftentimes lose track of the time that our local police and fire departments spend saving lives than we hear in the media. And I suspect they won't hear this story, but I think it's one that maybe isn't bad to be told either. So I'll show you, and we can talk about the consequences of it if you wish. And I'll see if I can find it here. So if you can see this, we
Oh
have a
my
fellow
God.
sitting on the bridge. We have a negotiator that talked to him for probably 3.5 hours. And probably 6 or 8 firemen, we had 3 or 4 fire trucks, and just a huge amount of invested in trying to keep this person from jumping off the bridge. And so I did watch it for probably 3 to 4 hours and took, I think, close to 90 photographs from him in this position, and then standing right on the spot where he was seated, and then finally climbing back over the railing and walking out with the fellows who were there. So it was really a kind of a point in my life where I thought, you know, there are a lot of people here who do a lot of good, and we never hear about it. It's one of those things that's never talked about, and it happens all the time. I see police and firemen on that bridge probably 15 times a year, and that's only the times that I see them. I'm betting they're probably 3 or 4 times as many that happens. So, it's a good story. He came back off the bridge and everything was fine, but I just thought it's kind of interesting how we never get to hear these stories. So this is 400 millimeter. That's and the heat waves were tremendous. So I found out that you can kind of subvert the heat waves a little bit if you shoot like about 0.008 of a second. And so I had some pretty blurry pictures to start off with at 500 and 1,000th of a second. As I worked my way up to 0.008 of a second, I finally got some reasonably good pictures at that distance on a 30-degree day with heat waves in between. So you can see how the roof in the background there is just all heat waves. So luckily the portion that's in the picture isn't quite as far away, so not as many heat waves involved. So that's just something to think about, I guess.
Very thought-provoking. Yeah. Actually, I suppose another reason there's less heat waves is that you're shooting across the water. So I don't imagine there'd be as much heat coming off.
I suspect this is about 1 kilometer away from where I'm sitting.
Mhm.
So it's a long, long ways. And this is on A7R4, which is 61 megapixels and a 400 millimeter lens. And this is cropped down like just a tiny little. I'll show you how far away it was.
Mhm.
That's how far away it was. And that's with 100 millimeters. So you can just see them in the background here, just barely. So it turns out not so the heat waves, because they were just atrocious. So, but to me, the 3 or 4 hours they spent out there was amazing. And they just kept talking to that guy all the time. You can see all the water bottles on top of the railing there that those guys were drinking as they were talking to him. So on a clear day in the winter, it's just clear straight across there. Right on the top left corner, there's it's called Heritage Station. You can read the words on the top of that building, just in the top left up here, in the wintertime on a day when there's no heat waves. But yeah, it's one of those things that kind of interests your mind for a while, and you think about how things really are in this world. That's all I got.
Were they all like firemen and cops up there, do you know, or do you think there's any
Most of the policemen were there. These were all policemen. The firemen were down at the far end. I think I have a photograph of them coming off at the end of the, there they were bringing him back off at the very end. So,
I was down in Indian Battle Park. I think it was this winter at one time when there was an incident up there, and there's another
Mhm.
dozens of police officers down on the bottom, just keeping traffic away from that area.
and oftentimes you see them over at the other end of the bridge too. They'll drive down along beside the railroad tracks and come back as far as the other end of the bridge, right? I'm not sure if I even have a picture of the far end of the bridge. I don't, but they come down on the Heritage side, drive right down and then walk down to the bridge. So yeah, it's quite a situation in a lot of cases. So.
I shot a similar situation a few years ago, and I also had a police scanner at the time, so I was listening in on what they were talking about all the time, and I thought it was a trespassing incident. So I shot lots of pictures and video and everything, and they were talking to the guy, and unfortunately it didn't have a good outcome, and I just heard them say, well, he went over the side, and so I immediately just erased everything, but that affected me for quite a while.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think about quite a bit when after you start seeing it happen all the time.
Yeah, I think that, we're getting numbed to a lot of that type of, without even seeing it, we're getting numb to just the statistics because there's a lot going on. And yeah, it is.
There's really a lot right now, I find.
Yeah, back in Manitoba, it was interesting. They have an emergency situation up north, and they introduced a new Minister of Indigenous Affairs to replace the lady that resigned. And George, you might recognize the name Lajamodier. There's, I know it's a big name back in Manitoba. I'm not sure the history of it, but the new minister said that the residential schools were intending to help the children assimilate into Canadian culture, and he carried on with his spiel. And then Wab Kenobi used to be on CBC radio. He is now the leader of the opposition, the NDP in Manitoba, and he came actually right up to the podium with a mask on and just decried the attitude that this new Minister of Indigenous Affairs was presenting. That's kind of amazing when you think of expressing that kind of attitude when you've got that position.
Okay, I think we can probably call it a day unless anybody else has something else you want to share or any questions anybody has for anybody.
Yes, Rolf, you should share something. I don't want to see us end the meeting on such a downer note here. Can't hear you.
No.
I'm sharing my background.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice.
No, but I'm just reorganizing my pictures.
Mhm.
There are way too many to find something in a short time. So I'll get organized.
Yeah. Well, maybe you and I should get together with George and he can help us on that. I'm just doing the same process. And I know I've talked about this before where I'm too cheap to buy a subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud, but I finally bit the bullet.
Oh, okay.
So now I got to get everything ready for that. The other difficulty I've found in my organizing, having lost a number of images in iPhoto. I started off with Lightroom and I was using separate catalogs depending on the theme, like birds, landscapes, night photography, or whichever. And I understand that now why that's not a good idea to try. You have to open Lightroom with each catalog. So I'm in the process of merging some right now. George, have you, of course, you always started off with a single catalog, did you?
Always.
Yeah. So that's what I'm at. Has anyone out there merged catalogs? Anything I should be watching out for?
It's quite simple.
Mhm.
Just Google it and you'll get a nice simple instruction.
Mhm.
Cool.
And then I'm also leery. I'm on Lightroom 6, of course, and I've now got Lightroom Classic, but it, I guess, is quite different in it has to reformat the catalogs. And I'm wondering if I should combine my catalogs under Lightroom 6 or do it under Lightroom Classic.
Lightroom Classic, Dwayne. Don't go back, only go forward.
Yeah. But no, I'm wondering, actually, the other reason I'm doing this, I'm getting a new Mac Mini with that M1 chip, and because my iMac is really getting slow. So hopefully that'll certainly make for a quicker process. I'll follow your good guidance there, George.
Okay,
There's more than one way to do things, and I have my way, and it works good. So
And then there's the wrong way.
no, there's other ways that people.
I have separate catalogs, but that's only because, like, for my weddings and for my portrait work, each one of them has a catalog, a folder that has their catalog and their pictures and everything in it, so that when I back it up, I've got everything all together. And I really have no reason to have one catalog to look up all these different weddings or whatever. So
Mm.
I haven't, and the rest of my stuff is just kind of lost because I haven't been doing too much. And now that I'm starting to do something, I need to
Mhm.
do more. But anyways, I think I'm going to call it a day. The next theme, I believe, is summer fun. I just went up and looked it up. So maybe I can try to get something if I can find something fun. These days, I don't know.
Sorry, what was the theme for next?
Summer
month?
fun, I think.
Oh, isn't that what we just had?
No, this is the heat dome.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys
I know.
and sharing your stuff with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good night.